Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Preston Endress. A man charged with murdering a Hazleton man in 2024 has been found guilty. On March 7, 2024, prosecutors say Shelton Miles robbed a Sunoco on North Main Avenue in Scranton and shot and killed Jose Miguel Tatiz Camilo of Hazleton. During the incident, officials say Miles also shot the cashier in the thigh before filling his pockets with cash and fleeing the scene. In his trial, the defense pled not guilty by reason of insanity, arguing that Miles suffered from dementia and experienced periods of confusion and forgetfulness. However, Miles was ultimately found guilty on charges of first-degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and theft in connection with the incident. A man has been charged with arson after an explosive device was ignited inside a church rectory in Schuylkill County. According to Mahanoy City Police, Kyle Kuczynski was arrested on Tuesday in connection with the incident. Investigators say the device was discovered inside the chapel at the St. Teresa of Calcutta Rectory on May 6. Kuczynski has been committed to the Schuylkill County Prison. Officials say Kuczynski is facing arson and other related charges in connection with the case. It is unknown at this time if there were any injuries sustained in the explosion. Luzerne County will be hosting an open house later this week for a new Veterans Affairs location in Wilkes-Barre. Luzerne County Manager Imelda Crocomo said the county decided to relocate the office to make it more convenient for veterans and their families.
We're relocating our Veterans Affairs office to 61 Water Street in Wilkes-Barre. It's near where the Veterans Affairs used to be years ago. That location seems to be more handy for veterans and their families who come to Veterans Affairs to seek some assistance.
The open house will be held on Friday, May 9th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and the public is invited to attend. Crocomo said the county will also be utilizing the opportunity to honor military families.
May 9th is also Military Spouse Day, so we'll be recognizing military spouses. Have to remember that the family members sacrifice as well.
The Office of Veterans Affairs can assist veterans in a variety of areas, including disability compensation, real estate property tax exemptions, burial benefits, VA healthcare enrollment, and military records requests. For additional information, you can visit LuzerneCounty.org and search Veterans Affairs. Coming up on WYLN News, a bill to require cursive handwriting instruction in Pennsylvania schools gains traction. Plus, tickets are now available for Seussical the Musical at the Pennsylvania Theater of Performing Arts. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network and Jefferson Health. Investing in your well-being and building healthier communities because more expertise and convenient care mean better outcomes and a healthier you. Learn more at lvhn.org/Jefferson.
My name is Abby and my welcome be cloudy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cher's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cher's is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, Eric was in a car accident in New York, but he lives in Pennsylvania. Tune in to see how gentle chiropractic and how he will write reports for his attorney is going to give him the best care that he needs.
Welcome back to WYLN News. PA State Representative Dayton Watrow has announced that his bill to require cursive handwriting instruction in Pennsylvania schools has been unanimously approved by the House Education Committee. In a press release, Watrow emphasized the importance of cursive writing in helping students read historical documents, sign their names on checks, and build fine motor skills and dexterity. Watrow said cursive instruction is currently required in at least 24 other states. The legislation now heads to the full House of Representatives for consideration. Rite Aid has announced that it will soon be selling multiple locations in Luzerne County. The decision is part of the company's latest Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which has resulted in the decision to sell over 1,000 locations nationwide. The affected locations in Luzerne County include the stores in Hazleton, Kingston Township, Nanticoke, Luzerne, Mountaintop, Pittston, Plains, Whitehaven, and Wilkes-Barre. However, Rite Aid officials say the stores will not close immediately. Instead, they will remain open without buying any new inventory. Officials say customers will also continue to be able to get their prescriptions and vaccines at the stores. However, beginning on June 5th, Rite Aid will no longer honor gift cards or accept any returns or exchanges. Rite Aid rewards points are also no longer being issued. The Pennsylvania Theater of Performing Arts is inviting the public to visit Whoville during their weekend performance of Seussical, the musical. Seussical features several popular characters and stories from the world of Dr. Seuss and tells the story of a boy named Jojo who learns about the power of love, imagination, and standing up for what is right. The show will be performed on Friday, May 9th at 7 p.m., Saturday, May 10th at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., and on Sunday, May 11th at 3 p.m. The Pennsylvania Theater of Performing Arts is located at 212 West Broad Street in Hazleton. Tickets can be purchased at the PTPA box office or at ptpashows.org. Coming up on Weatherly's News Choice, we visit the LVHN Wheelchair Clinic on this week's Wellness Wednesday. Plus, Chris Fomer leads us down the path through history with Danville Part 3. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
Lehigh Valley Health Network is now proudly part of Jefferson Health. And when two healthcare leaders come together for the community, you can expect more. More access, more doctors, more convenience. Jefferson Health and Lehigh Valley Health Network. Together for the future of care.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands, maybe your back or your hips. The good news is you don't need to live in pain. Why? because there is Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement created from the green lip mussels of New Zealand. Drug-free, non-habit forming, it's small, easy to swallow, and it's backed by more than 40 years of clinical research. As I was getting older, my joints started to feel that wear and tear. But then I tried Omega XL and it changed my life. If you're experiencing daily aches and pains due to aging and overuse, try Omega XL and see the difference it can make in your life.
Buy one, get two free. 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3, a value of more than $85. Call today and you pay only $39.95. Plus, you have nothing to lose because it's backed by our 60-day money-back guarantee. Call now.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
Hi, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We are again here at the beautiful Health and Wellness Center at Hazelton on Moisey Drive, and I am here with one of our wonderful occupational therapists, Amber Gunn. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you.
So another thing that we have available to our community and the patients is something I was not aware of. It's called a wheelchair clinic. So what is a wheelchair clinic? That's where you come in, Amber. So, we're sitting here on 2 fancy wheelchairs, but there are times in our life where I have, had to use a wheelchair. I had to use something like this. I had a setback. And then there's sometimes, we permanently need to have these type of assistive devices. So tell us what the wheelchair clinic is about and who should, be coming here to get evaluated for.
So basically, the people who would come here to get evaluated for a wheelchair are people who are looking for either short-term, long-term, in their home or in their community if they're having mobility deficits. So if they're having a lot of falls or something like that, or they're not, they're not able to walk as far as they used to. So they would require a script from their doctor for a wheelchair evaluation. And then they would come here and meet with me and a rep that I have come out, an assistive technology professional who knows everything about wheelchairs. And, together we kind of brainstorm what wheelchair is going to fit the patient's needs the best. We might have to take some measurements or, some strength testing, see if you're strong enough,
that makes sense.
Your balance. Your cognition as well. And then from there, we decide what the best mobility device is for the patient. And the assistive technology professional orders it after I send my note out to the doctor and the insurance company.
So, of course, we have the basic wheelchair that you see in the hospitals or some people use. And then, of course, we have a little bit more, giving us more mobility, these type of electric, if you will, battery operated. So I'm sure everyone wants one of these, you know, to get around, but is that feasible for everyone? Does everyone qualify? Kind of give us a little bit of a how this kind of works. I come in, I had an injury to my hip. I require, you know, to get around. How would I go about that? What would happen when I walk in the door?
Usually if it's for a short-term use, it would be not a very specific wheelchair or just one of the manual ones or a transport chair that somebody would push for you.
Okay.
So sometimes those don't even require evaluations at all. But if it was something like a jazzy, just to get around the house, get around the community, the store, to and from the post office, whatever, that would be one of these. And then these are for people who, you know, might not have upper extremity range of motion as good as, you know, that requires for the jazzy, or need a little bit more back support because it goes up a little bit further, it's a little bit more comfortable. So same idea, but a little bit more for patients who might need a little bit more of those types of supports.
So I guess the one question a lot of us always have, of course, is does insurance cover these type of things? So can you guide us on that?
Yeah, so like I said, so I submit my paperwork off to the doctor will sign it, and then we submit it off to the insurance for coverage. So again, everybody's insurance is a little bit different. Depending on the type of insurance that you have, we may just have to justify needs in certain areas. So a lot of insurances want to see that, you know, you need it in your home, or you need it for, you know, participation in your ADLs. Other insurances
maybe a job.
Yes, exactly. Other insurances don't really care. So depending on, you know, the specific needs of the insurances, I might have to write a letter of medical necessity to your insurance to, you know, just solidify that you really need this wheelchair for these reasons.
So we're running out of time, but I want to know what's the next step to get in touch with you. So after you get that evaluation, you tell your doctor, you know, we need to go to the Health and Wellness Center, to therapy, and write to you. Are you the guru of the clinic?
So usually I have the ladies at the front desk help me and set everything up, but we have the clinic 2 times a month.
Okay.
Sometimes the days will change, but we do, so 4 evaluations a month.
Okay.
So you would, you know, call over here to the Wellness Center, and the girls up front would get you set up with the soonest appointment they can, depending on your schedule too.
Awesome.
And then, you know, we have you come in and meet.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this great information, and thank you for watching Wellness Wednesday.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600. Attention WYLN viewers, WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman. Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Hello, I'm Wyln historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call WYLN News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@wylntv.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. WYLN, we're your local network.
My name is Addie, and now we're going to be cloudy.
A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
Danville will get its own library in 1886 thanks to the generosity of Thomas Beaver. Beaver, who had been born in New Berlin, Union County in 1814, had become a prominent merchant in Philadelphia. He had purchased the Danville Iron and Steel Works in 1859 and had made a fortune operating it. He was thus attentive when Danville's Mahoning Presbyterian Church announced they wished to add a reading room to the church. Beaver convinced them an entirely new building would be even better. He chose land for the new library, which would also be home to the Danville YMCA, at the corner of East Market and Ferry Streets. A large crowd gathered on the 4th of July, 1886 to see the library's cornerstone laid. Beaver himself would donate 6,000 books to the library's collection and gave $100,000 for a trust fund. It was specified that the library's trustees had to be from each church in town. What would be named the Thomas Beaver Free Library opened in a grand ceremony on August 29, 1888. It was preceded by the ringing of every bell and whistle in town, and a grand parade, speeches, and music were also part of the opening festivities. Within an hour, 1,000 people had already gone through the new library. Thomas Beaver died in 1891, but lived to see his nephew, James A. Beaver, be elected as Pennsylvania's 20th governor. In his will, Thomas left the library an additional $5,000 in funds. Across the Susquehanna in the town of Riverside, there lived in the latter decades of the 19th century one Dr. Abraham DeWitt. Born in Northumberland County, he had originally trained to be a teacher, but found medicine to be more his calling in the end. Upon the outbreak of the Civil War, DeWitt had enlisted with the 54th Pennsylvania Volunteers as an assistant surgeon. He would also serve in this capacity with the 2nd Pennsylvania Heavy Artillery before the war's end. DeWitt at first practiced medicine in Snydertown, Northumberland County, before coming to Riverside in 1878. For many years thereafter, he ran DeWitt's drugstore at the corner of Sunbury Road and Avenue H. Then, in 1896, Dr. DeWitt decided he wanted to enter the amusement park business. To that end, he purchased 28 acres of land from the Van Nostrand family on Avenue E and quickly built a large pavilion and dining hall. DeWitt's Park, as it was soon known, quickly became a success in the Danville area and beyond, attracting thousands of guests for business meetings and family reunions, with over 20,000 guests believed to attend the annual Farmers Tri-County Picnic there on at least one occasion. Dr. DeWitt soon added more attractions to his park: a baseball diamond, tennis courts, a shooting range, a movie theater, biking paths, stables for horses, carnival booths, walking trails, and a carousel all grace the grounds at one point or another. Bands also perform regularly at DeWitt's Park, with Fred Waring being just one of the big names to grace its grounds. The death of Dr. Abraham DeWitt in July 1915 spelled the beginning of the end for his park, and the rise of automobile services would finish it off soon afterwards. Today, the site of DeWitt's Park is covered by a large grove of trees, although locals say some concrete remains of the old park can still be seen in the woods. At the turn of the 20th century, Danville, like many towns across the nation, was serviced by trolleys. Several trolley lines, including the Danville and Bloomsburg and Danville and Sunbury lines, ran between the communities in question on regular intervals. The first Danville and Bloomsburg trolley departed down the rails from Bloomsburg at 8 p.m. on October 3, 1904, reaching Danville 3 hours later. The line entered Danville and Bloom Street, then moved to A Street underneath the tracks of the Philadelphia and Reading Railroad, and further to Walnut Street and Mill Street, where it had to stop due to a court order by the nearby Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad, which forbid the trolleys from crossing its tracks. Passengers at that point thus disembarked, crossed the railroad tracks on foot, and boarded another trolley to continue their journey. The Danville and Sunbury trolleys moved south over a bridge reaching across the Susquehanna to Riverside, where it would stop at DeWitt's Park during the park's heyday. The line also extended north to take tourists to Riverside Park near Milton. Trolley service in Danville would continue until March 2, 1926, when the trolleys would be replaced by buses. The winter of 1904 was a particularly cold one along the Susquehanna, and the river froze almost all the way through. Warmer temperatures would cause several floods over the winter, leaving houses damaged and ice-covered buildings. Spectators would come by train to see the damage, and vendors sold merchandise based off the flooding. But things were deadly serious on March 9th, when the river's ice jam broke and floodwater surged downstream. Every bridge in the Danville area was washed away, and the town was left under a foot of water, without electricity or running water. The river reached an all-time high of 29 feet, and once the flood receded, it left 3 inches of mud behind. It took months to rebuild the town's bridges, and ice floes could still be seen in the Susquehanna as late as July of that year. One of the early iron mill barons in Danville had been John Grove Sr., who had run the Grove Brothers iron furnace. In 1867, he would build an elaborate 44-room Italianate mansion outside Danville for his sons John Jr. and George. Grove's Castle, as it was called, also featured barns, greenhouses, and gazebos on 187 acres of land. The mansion eventually passed to John's granddaughter, Caroline Grove Bennett, who ran a florist operation on the grounds until her death in 1902. Her widower, John Bennett, improved the estate with electricity and a 9-hole golf course. Ice harvesting also took place at Grove's Castle. In 1917, 12 years after John's death, his second wife, Ellen, who rarely used the estate by this point, sold it for $40,000 to the local Sisters of St. Cyril and Methodist. The order moved into the estate, which they renamed Villa Sacred Heart. The Slovak Girls Academy High School opened on the grounds in 1922. An improved school building opened in 1931. It changed its name to St. Cyril's Academy in 1955 and closed in 1999. A chapel was built in 1939 and an upgrade to a basilica in 1989. Villa Sacred Heart remains an active convent today.
My name is Addie, and Mama gonna be cloudy.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.